You're listening to episode 32 of the Fed and Fearless podcast. On today's episode, I'll be sharing with you the 4 most crucial elements of a successful online nutrition business. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Laura Schoenfeld. I'm a registered dietitian and coach trained in functional medicine with a passion for helping women just like you ditch perfectionism and use food, fitness, and self-care to fuel your bigger God-given purpose. I believe that it's possible to achieve your biggest life-changing goals without the frustration, obsession, or negative self-talk that so many women subject themselves to every day. All you need are the right tools, the right mindset, and the faith to turn your dreams into reality. I'm here to guide you along the way. The truth is that you are so much more than a body, and I'm on a mission to help you change the way you think and act at a core beliefs level so you can transform your physical, mental, and spiritual health from the inside out. Are you ready to become fed and fearless in your pursuit of a healthy, meaningful life? Welcome to the Fed and Fearless podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fed and Fearless podcast. I'm Laura Schoenfeld, your host as always, and today we're going to do something a little bit different than usual and talk about business. I know that a few of you, maybe a bunch of you that listen to this podcast are nutritionists or dietitians, and maybe some of you also have your own business. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the 4 elements of a successful online business for those of you who are either starting an online business, growing your online business, or looking to scale your online business. And with everything that's been happening in the world over the last couple of months, it's been really clear that the people who are able to become successful in the online space are the ones that seem to be the most protected from all of the stuff that's going on with coronavirus and everything that's been happening since March of 2020. If you're listening to this episode later in 2020 or in the future, hopefully you can tell me that everything is fine. But at this point, we're still in the thick of it. And it's just been really clear to me that there's more and more interest these days in becoming an online business owner or transitioning a business online from offline or adding an online element to an in-person business. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I myself have been running my online business since 2014. I think I started my website in 2011. So it's something that I've been doing just online stuff in general for about 9 years now. And I started working for Chris Kresser, who many of you are familiar with, in early 2012. And so I was involved in his business, helping him grow his business, do content and research and program development and all of the things that helped him get to where he is with his amazing business at this point. So I have a lot of experience not only growing my own business, but also helping him grow his business. And then also now I work with dietitians and nutritionists that are growing their business to help them get things off the ground, to grow, to scale, to make more money, and to have a bigger impact. So this is something that I've been getting even more passionate about lately as I've been seeing more and more interest in this topic. And that's why I wanted to talk about it on the podcast today, because I think sometimes it can be overwhelming to think about where to start, where to put your energy, what the most important things to focus on when it comes to growing and scaling a business. And a lot of times that overwhelm leads to inaction. And so if we can cut down on the overwhelm and talk about an actual strategy, talk about steps you can take, it'll give you things that you can do to start to see progress, whether that is getting a new business off the ground or infusing some life into an older business or starting a new program, whatever you're trying to do with your online business. This podcast today is going to help you with that. So like I said, today we're going to talk about the 4 elements of a successful online business, and I'll go over each one of them in some amount of detail. This is something that I could probably talk about for hours and hours and hours, and there's tons that we could go into when it comes to each one of these elements. But I just want to give you a high-level overview of it at this point so that you have a general understanding of the biggest pieces of the puzzle that need to be dealt with when building and growing an online business. And this applies to any online business. And honestly, I think it really applies to any business in general, but it's especially important for an online business. And when I'm talking about it, I'm going to talk about it in the context of starting and growing a nutrition-focused business or even just a health-focused business. All businesses are different. There are some basic foundational strategies that must be implemented in any business to be successful. And then if we start to get a little bit more granular about the type of business that you're running, then we can use examples that are specific to, like I said, the nutrition world, the health world. If you're a dietitian, a health coach, a trainer, whatever you are, and whatever kind of business you want to build in the health world, these are the 4 elements that absolutely must be dealt with at any stage of business that you're in. So the first element that I want to talk about is traffic. Traffic is at the very basic level how people find out about you. Traffic is, it can be strangers, it can be people that are walking by, like if you have a storefront, if you have a brick and mortar business, it's anybody that did not know about you before that suddenly is now aware of you and is coming to you for information. And really, they're looking for help with a specific problem. And I know sometimes it can be a little weird to think that every single business out there has to solve a problem, because I'm sure you know of businesses that, like, let's just look at Netflix, for example. You might think, how does a business like Netflix solve a problem? The problem that Netflix is solving is boredom, right? So if you're bored and there's nothing to do and you're in your house because it's quarantine or whatever's going on, and you want something to solve your boredom, Netflix is an awesome solution to deal with boredom, right? It's one that a lot of us are using in the last couple of months. So even if it's not very obvious to you what that problem is, every single business has to solve a problem. And so when we think about traffic for your business, we're really looking at people who are looking for help with a specific problem. Typically, it's going to be a health problem. Sometimes it is a stress problem or a mindset problem, but usually in the health world, we're looking at specific health problems that people want solved. And there's a lot of different ways that somebody could potentially come across you as a business owner when they're looking for help with that specific problem. Many of you are familiar, well, I hope most of you are familiar with Google as being a way to find answers to problems. So if somebody puts a search term into Google looking for help with a particular problem, let's say how to reduce blood sugar as an example. If they put that into Google, there's probably going to be a bunch of websites that come up that are talking about strategies for lowering high blood sugar. And if you happen to be one of those websites that pops up on the first page of Google, there is a very high likelihood that there will be people that land on your website because they were looking for information about how to lower their blood sugar. Now, there's a lot that we could talk about when it comes to things like SEO, which is search engine optimization, and how to actually get people onto your website from the search engine like Google. That's going to be something that we can't talk about on this episode today, because honestly, it could be its own episode and it could be its own program. And I know people that have programs for SEO for nutritionists and dietitians. So we're not going to get into tons of detail on that, but I just wanted to use that as an example because I'm sure there's a lot of things that you yourself have Googled before to find an answer to a problem. And you were brought to a company that sold a solution for that particular problem. So you want your business, no matter what kind of business you have, and if it's a health or nutrition business, you're not excused from this. You want it to be clear, as clear as possible, what kind of problem you solve when somebody lands on your website. So that's one of the biggest ways of getting traffic that is free. So we can look at somebody coming to a blog because they did a Google search or because they saw a link somewhere. Social media is another really popular way to get traffic to you as a business. So social media can be things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. I don't use TikTok, so I don't know how effective it is for bringing in great traffic, but I tend to really focus on Instagram and Facebook as my primary sources of social media. Personally, I really like Instagram the most out of all of them. Facebook's kind of like, whatever. I'm not super into it, but Facebook can be really effective for paid traffic. And we'll talk about that in a second. But social media is another really popular way to start getting traffic to you as a business owner. Technically, there's people out there that run businesses that don't even have a website, and all they have is their social media, and their link in their social media bio just goes to a booking page where somebody can sign up for a call with them or somehow get in touch with them about getting support for whatever problem that they're solving. And so you might even look at social media as being something that's more important than even having a website. I think having a good website is a great thing to have as an asset for your business. It's not the most important thing. And technically, it's not even an essential thing to have a business. But having some kind of landing page, like a website, a social media page, something where someone can come to learn about you and your business is very important when we're talking about traffic. So we can have free social media as being a way for people to find out about us. I just mentioned paid ads. So Facebook ads are probably one of the easiest ways to grow a new audience and get in front of new eyes with your stuff. When you do Facebook ads, it actually goes out on Instagram as well, assuming you do it correctly. And so I don't usually use the native ad program in Instagram to do ads. I usually go straight through Facebook. There's also Google ads. I think Google is what goes on to YouTube. I'd have to double check on that. I haven't done Google ads yet because they're a lot more complicated than Facebook ads, but Google ads are an option as well. You can have your blog come up as an ad when somebody does a search term for something. So paid advertisement, and especially on things like Facebook or Google ads, is one of the best ways to bring in new traffic to you as a business owner. And if you do it effectively, it actually can be pretty inexpensive to bring in potential clients and customers. So, social media, it can take a really long time to get organic, non-paid traffic from social media or from a blog. Paid traffic from ads actually can be a really fast way to get more traffic. Of course, it costs money rather than time, but if you're a new business owner or if you want to move things along and make them happen faster, then paid ads are a great way to get traffic. Word of mouth is another traffic source that is one of the best traffic sources as far as getting somebody warmed up to be a potential client of yours. It's also one that obviously is difficult for a new business to have, but if you're a more established business, then anything you can do to get testimonials or referrals from current clients or past clients is going to be really, really helpful for you getting new clients. It's not surprising that most people want to see some evidence that you do a good job at the work that you do, and testimonials from current and past clients can be one of the best ways to demonstrate your ability to solve the problem that you are offering to solve for your potential client. So word of mouth includes, your clients telling other people about you. It also includes referrals from other providers. So if you have a network of local doctors or local dietitians or even virtual dietitians that you have a relationship with that you refer potential clients to each other, that can be a great way to bring in new potential customers and bring in new traffic to your business, because referrals and word of mouth tend to be one of the most powerful ways to get somebody who's already pretty warm to your potential services. Again, there are strategies you can do to increase the likelihood that your current clients or colleagues will refer to you. But if you do a really good job at serving your clients, it's actually something that comes naturally for a lot of people, especially if you have the type of client that likes to share what they've experienced as a client of yours. So that's a really great way to build traffic, especially if you're a more established business. Interviews are another awesome source of traffic that are, I think, really underutilized by a lot of dietitians and nutritionists out there, mostly because of fear. I got to admit that. When I first started podcasting, I wasn't even a dietitian yet. It was me and Kelsey Kinney, who you guys might know if you listen to our old podcast, The Ancestral RDs. I think we got up to like 200, I want to say 200 episodes. I don't know if it was 300. I think we did about 200 episodes before we ended that partnership. I love Kelsey and we had a really great time working together. I think we both just kind of started to go on our own paths, and running a joint business when you're trying to do your own thing is very challenging. So we amicably ended our partnership. But if you remember the Ancestral RDs podcast, that first originated on Chris Kresser's website as a podcast called Ask the RD. So that was, gosh, I'm really dating this now. That was, I think, 2013 that podcast started. And that's when I wasn't even an RD yet. Kelsey was an RD and I was an RD to be. So it was kind of funny that the podcast was called Ask the RDs, but it was something that I feel very strongly built my business quickly to have a podcast like that and to be able to have my, Chris being able to host that podcast made a huge impact on my ability to just jump into a business really fast out of grad school. But if I hadn't started my own podcast, and I know, like I said, it can be kind of scary to go on other people's podcasts. I still get nervous even doing my own podcast, not so much when I do interviews, but when I just jump on the mic and start talking to nobody like I'm doing right now, I still get nervous. So I totally understand doing podcast interviews can be a little scary and bring up some fear for people, but getting on other people's podcasts and talking about a topic that's related to your ideal client and establishing yourself as an expert and a trusted resource in that area on other podcasts is an amazing way to get more traffic to yourself as a business owner. If you want to take it to the next level, then getting on TV and doing TV interviews is even more powerful. I've never been on like a traditional TV station before. I almost was back in, I think it was back in March. Unfortunately, all the COVID stuff kind of bumped that. And I don't know if maybe it'll happen again. I'm not sure. I'd been invited to be on a Canadian TV show, morning show, which would have been really cool. But like I said, because of COVID, nobody cared about nutrition at the time of that interview. And so, it was pushed. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll be on TV, but, video interviews in general tend to be a lot more powerful than just audio. So if you can get the opportunity to be on a local news station or on some kind of summit where you're on video talking about your area of expertise, that is a really awesome way to establish yourself as an expert and to get more traffic to you as a business owner. So in addition to more of those like live or recorded interview options, guest posting for other people's websites can also be a really great way to bring traffic to yourself. Now, obviously, the more traffic that the website gets that you post on, the better. But even just getting your name out there and starting to build up some web presence with guest posting on other people's websites is a really great way to start to build your credibility and to get in front of some new eyes. So getting on interviews and getting guest posting opportunities a lot of times takes strategy, and it's something that you don't usually just get it to, like, it doesn't usually just fall into your lap as like an invitation. I've been invited to a fair number of interviews for podcasts. And like I said, I was supposed to do a TV interview, but that fell through. I really think that a lot of that has come from the fact that I had my own podcast, had my own blog, was establishing myself as an expert, and then people saw me as someone worth inviting to their own show or their own podcast. That's not the only way to do it, though. There are professional ways to pitch yourself to other resources and news sources, podcasts, other blogs, to get yourself out there as an expert in your area of expertise. Again, could be its own podcast episode. I'm actually in a program right now with a coach named Selena Sue called Impacting Millions, where it teaches you how to get your message out there and get established as an expert in your area that you want to be known as an expert in. So like I said, it's a lot that we could talk about when it comes to publicity and getting more well-known in your space, and more than I can talk about on this podcast, but something to be aware of when it comes to building traffic. So that's element number one, is traffic. And it's super important to have traffic. If you don't have any traffic to your website, it's pretty much impossible. Or I shouldn't say to your website. If you don't have any traffic to your business, it's pretty much impossible to grow a business. You don't need tons of traffic. You don't need millions of viewers on your website. You don't need thousands of followers on social media to get good traffic. You just need a clear message and clear value from what you're sharing, and an ability to build your like, know, trust factor with that traffic. So, try not to worry too much about numbers. Quality over quantity is really where it's at when it comes to traffic. The next element of a successful online business is leads. Leads are when somebody who was traffic decides that they're interested in your business and they're willing to take action and sign up for something. Usually that tends to be some kind of freebie that you're offering. We're actually, at the time of this podcast being published, we're like 3 weeks into a free leads training that I'm doing with, at this point, at the day of recording, we have over 500 people signed up for it. But it's a group where we're going through my business coach, James Wedmore's Your First 100 Leads training. And it is something that teaches how to create a freebie that is really effective for getting the right people to take action and to get into your world as a lead. And a lead just means somebody has raised their hand to say that they're more interested in you and your business than the average person. So when we get a bunch of traffic to our website or our social media or, our blog, whatever that is, that traffic isn't necessarily ever going to become a client. And honestly, the vast majority of your traffic is never going to become a client. But when somebody opts in and says, I'm interested, I want to learn more, I want to get on your newsletter, I want to get your free guide or I want to do your video training, that is a person who is saying that they're more interested, and they are far more likely to become a client than just somebody who is browsing your website. This is something called direct response marketing. Direct response marketing is designed to elicit an on-the-spot response and to encourage a prospective customer to take action by opting into your offer. So anything that we're doing that uses direct response marketing is making an offer, whether that's a really low-cost paid offer or a free offer, to somebody who is coming to your website to look at what you have to offer and what your potential services are. And when you make that offer to them that you can help them, and here's the first step, when they take that first step, that is an action that is elicited by direct response marketing. So being able to have them take an action step tells you that they're more interested, and then that allows you to then put more energy into your marketing towards that particular person to help them understand the value of your services, why you're the right person for them to work with, and gives them an opportunity to become a customer or a client. Now, a lead is not somebody that's paid for anything yet, typically. I mean, maybe they've bought like a, couple dollar product or something like that, but typically a lead is someone who's just expressed interest in your business by taking some kind of action, usually by sharing their email address in exchange for something that you're giving to them for free. So at this point, they haven't spent any money with you, or maybe they've just spent a very small amount of money with you, but they're showing their interest in you and your business. And this is really where you have the opportunity to build a relationship with the person. Now, this is especially important for online businesses, because a lot of times with in-person businesses, especially like a dietitian business or a nutritionist, someone who's doing a service provider type of role and they're local, being a local business means that a lot of people will come to work with you just because you're physically near them in proximity, which is awesome, right? Like that's a great reason for somebody to work with you, that you are down the street from them. They can come see you in person. And, in some places you might be one of the only dietitians or nutritionists in the area, and it's really more of just a supply and demand type of thing. So if you are an online business, you really can't rely on that type of experience, because at this point, there are thousands and thousands of online business owners in the health and wellness space, in the nutrition space. There's at least like thousands of dietitians that have an online business. And when you have an online business, you can really work with almost anybody. You don't have that proximity or that location specific level of interest that would have somebody want to work with you just because, they're the only ones that are around, or they seem to be well rated out of the 5 people that are in my city. So that's why getting somebody as a lead when you're an online business is so important, because there's so many people that they could potentially work with. And if they don't really know you, if they are just landing on your website and this is the first time that they're ever seeing you, it's pretty reasonable to understand that they are not necessarily ready to spend money on you as a business person or a service provider. You really need to be thinking about how you're building a relationship with that customer. Obviously, there are lots of different ways that you can communicate and build that relationship, whether that is a regular newsletter, whether that is a podcast like this, where you can talk to the person and, you who are listening to this podcast are getting hopefully some like no trust factor with me, and you're starting to enjoy listening to me and like what I have to offer and trust that what I'm saying is accurate, and getting to know me a little bit better as a person. So if you have a podcast, if you have a blog, if you do social media, there's all sorts of different ways that you can start to build that like no trust factor with a potential client. And one of the easiest ways is when they have opted into something free, and you can start to send them emails that talk about your services, that show the person why you're the right person to help them with whatever problem you're helping them solve, and gives them an opportunity to take the next step to work with you. So when we're looking at leads, the most important thing is that our messaging is clear, that we are clearly explaining what we offer, how we help people, who we help, and what the problem is that we're solving with our offer. And we're giving someone an opportunity to raise their hand and say that they are more interested in our business than someone who just happened to land on our social media page or our website. It really just helps them take the next step to becoming a potential client and to learning more about you and your business and what you can offer them. So that is the leads element of a successful online business. So we have traffic, leads, and this is in order. So traffic becomes a lead, right? Somebody who lands on your website, if they opt into a freebie of yours, then they have become a lead. The next step and the next element of a successful online business is conversion. So just because somebody has become a lead and said that they're interested in your services does not mean that they're ever going to work with you. And that's okay. Not everybody's going to work with us. I definitely do not have a 100% conversion rate on my leads. In fact, it's pretty typical, depending on what kind of service you're offering or what kind of launch you're doing, that you may only have like a 5% conversion rate on people that become leads, and a 5% rate would actually be considered good. So we're not looking to have 100% of the people that ever opt in to our stuff become a client. That's just not reasonable, and it's really not even possible. However, we want to make sure that we are converting some of those leads into customers, because if we don't have customers or we don't have clients, then we don't have a business. This is really where there's an actual exchange of money, and there's a sale happening that turns someone from a prospect into an actual client or customer. And if you don't have sales, you really just have an expensive hobby if you're investing a lot in growing the business, or you just have a hobby that is fun and not really something that is an actual business. So if you want to have a successful business, you have to have an effective conversion strategy. Most dietitian and nutrition business owners will start with a sales call as their main conversion opportunity. A lot of times those are called discovery calls or strategy calls or accelerator calls. There's lots of different things that you could call a sales call. I would not call something a sales call, because honestly, I don't even look at them as sales calls. If I call something a discovery call, usually the purpose of the discovery call is to establish if I'm even a good fit for somebody to work with me. Like I said, I do not expect to have 100% conversion rate on my sales calls. I don't even want a 100% conversion rate, because either it means I'm not charging enough, and there should be some people who maybe can't afford to work with me or can't justify the expense or whatever. If I'm charging what I'm worth, there should be some people that say no due to money. But the other thing to think about is you may not be the right person for that person to work with. And that happens pretty often. The goal of a good lead magnet is to get people that would be a good fit, but you're not going to be a good fit for everybody for a variety of reasons. And when I do discovery calls, one of the main things I'm focusing on is determining if one, can help the person, 2, if I'm the right fit for that person, 3, if I want to work with that person, because I don't always want to work with every single person that comes my way, and 4, is my service really going to actually help them get the result that they're looking for? So they really truly are discovery calls. They're not just these like intense sales calls where the only thing I'm worried about is whether or not I make a sale. That would be ridiculous. But at the end of the day, they are an opportunity for me to make a sale in my business. So doing a sales call is a very common way to convert a prospect into a client or customer for lots of different businesses. I mean, we've all been on sales calls before, and a lot of them are ones that we wanted to be on because we were interested in potentially hiring that person. Like if you're gonna get some landscaping done in your front yard, you might sign up for a call with a local business that's a landscaping company. Maybe they'll come out and do an estimate. And you might decide that you're going to become their customer and pay them for the job. And that was a sales call that you went through to actually determine, is this the right company for me to work with? And do I want to invest in their services? So everybody has been on a sales call if you're an adult in the Western world, I'm assuming. And so we don't need to be weird about it with our own businesses. We just have to think about what's the purpose of the sales call. And it's not just to get somebody to pay us money at any cost. It's really to help make sure that it's a good fit, that we can help them, that we want to help them, that they actually want to work with us, and that it would be a great relationship for both of us to be working together on that person's particular challenge. So sales calls tend to be the main way that new or even just established business owners can convert somebody from a lead to a customer. Other options include things like launches, there's tons of different types of launch strategies. I won't go into all of them, but there's a lot of them. I've been in enough programs at this point to know at least like 4 or 5 off the top of my head, and there's probably a lot more than that. But there are different ways that you can do a launch to launch a product or service and to get new customers in that way. You can literally just send offers out in an email. I'm sure you've received those type of emails from companies that you subscribe to where they tell you about a sale or they tell you about a new product and you go and buy it. There's some pretty complicated and some simple funnels. If you've ever heard of the term funnels, then you know it's really just a process that takes a person from a prospect to a customer. And again, a funnel could be its own, like there's conferences on how to put funnels together. So I'm not going to go into details about it, but there are funnels that exist that can help convert someone from a prospect to a client. There are some post opt-in offers. So if you do a free opt-in and then when the person signs up for that free opt-in, if you offer them something paid right after that, that's usually called a tripwire. And that is something that can be a way to turn someone from a prospect into a customer, even if they're just making a small purchase from you. And then you could potentially have an online store on your website. So maybe you sell programs or products, or, maybe you sell t-shirts or you sell supplements. That kind of stuff can be offered in an online store, and the person can just decide to add something to their cart and pay you and receive the service or product that you are offering. So lots of different conversion strategies. Again, for most private practice dietitians, nutritionists, people that are working one-on-one with people, the most common conversion strategy is a sales call, but it's certainly not the only one. Okay, so we've talked about traffic, we've talked about leads, we've talked about conversion, and then the final element of a successful online business is the product. So the product is really just, what are you selling? What are you providing to somebody when they give you money? What is the offer that you're making to that prospective client? And what is the actual solution that you are presenting to that person to solve that customer's problem? So there's probably a million different ways that you could create a product depending on what the actual problem that you're solving is. And you might have a solution that involves multiple elements of that product. So I'll just give you some examples that are common to the world of nutrition and dietetics. This is not an exhaustive list. These are just some of the more common ones. And like I said, you can definitely have a business that offers multiple of these types of products. And in fact, the best businesses do offer multiple elements of this type of these different product offers. But all you need is technically one product and you have a business as long as people are buying it. So one of the most common ways that nutritionists and dietitians sell their services is through one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching is typically where I recommend starting if you are brand new to the online space and you need to have more client experience, or you just want to get confident in your own methodology with helping people solve a particular problem. So starting with one-on-one tends to be the most common way that most dietitians and nutritionists get their business going. If you have never done one-on-one, I would not jump straight into group coaching or an online program because you really don't have the experience or knowledge that comes from one-on-one coaching to tell you what do people need to know, what do they need to be successful, what kind of strategies work for people, what kind of mindset blocks get in the way. So you learn all that from one-on-one coaching. And technically, you could just stay at the one-on-one coaching level forever. There's plenty of people out there that the only thing that they offer in their business is one-on-one coaching or consultation. So a more traditional private practice dietitian is probably going to focus primarily on face-to-face visits with their clients or patients, and maybe they bill insurance and all of their financial income is coming from one-on-one face-to-face type of services. And that's totally fine. If that's all you want to offer in your business, there is nothing wrong with that. And that is a great way to run a successful business as a dietitian or a nutritionist. However, if you have any sort of desire to scale your business or to grow your income and impact past the one-on-one type of service, that's where things like group coaching and online programs and products can come into play. When you're doing one-on-one coaching, you're literally trading time for dollars. So unless you just keep raising your prices until you're charging a ton of money every time you talk to somebody, there's going to be a ceiling that you hit when it comes to your income potential. Now you can hire other RDs to work under you and start to grow up group practice. And obviously that'll increase the revenue that your business is bringing in. But still, there's going to be limitations because we all have a certain amount of hours in the day. And, once you've hit, hopefully you're not working more than 8 or 9 hours a day, but there's limits and you have to sleep. And even if you were to work 24 hours straight, you still can only work 24 hours in a day, right? So one-to-one coaching has its limits. And if you feel like you've kind of maxed out on your prices there, then the next best way to start growing your income is to offer something like group coaching or an online program, basically one-to-many. And the reason why this is really valuable to have once you've established your one-on-one services, there's actually 2 different reasons. One is because you get out of that time for dollars cycle where the only way you make money is by seeing somebody face-to-face or on the phone or via Zoom or whatever it is. That, like I said, you have limited amount of hours. You can only do so many of those calls a week. And then if you don't have something else to offer, then that's the maximum amount of revenue that you can bring in. So it allows you to scale your time and your income and help you bring in more revenue without spending more time in your business. The other benefit of having a group or an online program is if you're only taking private pay, then it can be a really great way to offer a different investment level for somebody to work with you if working with you one-on-one is outside of their budget. Now, again, with pricing could be its own conversation and we won't get into it today. But when I work with private clients with my business coaching or, everything I've learned from all the online training that I've done for business is that you should be priced at a point where there's going to be people that say that they can't afford you. If everybody says that they can afford you, you're probably not charging almost anything. And honestly, there's going to be people out there that if you try to sell them something for $10, they're going to say it's too expensive. So there's always going to be people that say that your services are too expensive for them. And that's okay. Like that is actually something that is completely normal and we should expect it. And it's not a sign that we're charging too much or that our services are not worth what we're asking. Now, again, this is a challenge that especially comes up if you are maxed out on your one-to-one coaching and you've had to raise your prices to start having a little bit of a supply and demand type of response with normal economics. You may start to get to a place where you're starting to price out people that you could have been able to serve before you were super busy. And again, totally okay. It's actually a good sign that your business is busy enough that you have to turn people away. But the really cool thing about having a group or an online program is that somebody who may not be able to afford to work with you one-on-one now has an option that they can still work with you at a lower price point and still get really great results from you and from your knowledge and expertise and ability to guide them. So like I said, there's really 2 main benefits to having an online program or a group coaching program that you can offer. One is that you don't have to spend as much time to bring in the same amount of revenue or possibly bring in more revenue. And then the second one is to be able to offer lower priced options so that more people can access your services and get help from you, even if they can't afford to work one-on-one with you. And like I said, this really ideally comes from your experience working one-on-one. And the reason I think it's better to work one-on-one first is, one, you want to make sure that you know how to solve this problem for people, and getting one-on-one experience can help give you confidence in that. And then the other reason you want to start with one-on-one first is because you want to have a proprietary process, or just like a specific way that you help your clients reach that outcome. And that typically comes from experience. Now, you can have some knowledge that comes from your education and training and other jobs that you've had, but most of the time, what you teach in an online program is going to come from something that you've learned from working with people one-on-one. So I usually recommend starting with one-on-one, learning who you like to help, how you like to help them, what you're really good at when it comes to getting results, and then using that experience to then start an online program that maybe is like a group or a self-study type of program that allows you to scale and reach more people with your expertise and help more people at a different price point than the one-on-one would be. So that's typically what I teach my private business coaching clients and what I've done in my own business. And I just find it to be a really effective strategy for giving you more free time, allowing you to take on the kind of clients you want to work with and not just have to work with whoever comes your way. Also, it allows you to charge more for your one-on-one time and to bring in more revenue. And more revenue means more opportunity to grow your business and to reach more people. So there's just a lot of benefits that can come from having multiple product and service options. Now, beyond the one-to-one or group coaching or online coaching programs, there's a lot of other ways that you can potentially serve people. You can create an ebook or a guide or some kind of meal plan that they can purchase that allows them to get some results from that. You can sell physical products. I had mentioned supplements before. That is something that some people make their own supplement companies. Some people create food products. Like my colleague, Kelsey Kinney, has a really awesome beverage company that she's working on where she creates matcha and hot chocolate that has prebiotics in it. Shout out to Kelsey and her healthy gut business. And if you want to check out Kelsey's matcha, her product is called Gut Power Matcha. Like I said, she does have the Gut Power hot chocolate as well, but that's an example of a physical product that a registered dietitian is selling and bringing in revenue from. And I know people that have created prenatals or have their own private label supplements. So there's lots of different ways that you can potentially sell a physical product, or you could sell a t-shirt if you want to do t-shirts. There's lots of tons of different physical product options that can be sold from your website, from your social media. I don't really do physical products. I do sell supplements for my clients through a website called FullScript, but that's not me selling the product. That's just me making a recommendation and then them ordering it from FullScript. So now I do make commission from that, but that is something that is not a product that I myself sell. It's just a add-on to the service that I provide, and I get a little bit of a commission as a member of that dispensary. You could also write a book. I have lots of friends that have written books. Some of my clients have written books, and book writing, I haven't done it yet. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. I've heard some horror stories about how hard it is to write a book. But that is something that can be sold. And there's people out there that their book is their primary source of revenue. I've even interviewed some people on this podcast that their book is the main way that their business makes money. So books can definitely be a great source of revenue and could be a primary source of revenue. It's in my mind, a little harder to make that happen than to get a successful one-on-one or group coaching business off the ground. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that there's different things that need to be done, different strategies, and it's not something that I have a lot of experience with. So do not ask me how to make your living off of book writing, because I have not done it before. But as you can see, there are so many different types of products and services you can offer. And the most important thing is that you just have one that really does help serve the particular client that you want to help, that really serves their needs and helps them get the results that they want to get. And like I said, that can be anything from a book to a supplement to a coaching program to one-on-one coaching and mentoring. Whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. It just has to work, and it has to be good quality, and it has to get people the results that they're looking for. So just to review, these are the 4 elements that you have to have in a successful business and really a successful online business. Number 1 is traffic. Number 2 is leads. Number 3 is conversion. And number 4 is product. And again, I could probably do multiple podcasts on each of these topics if we wanted to go into really deep detail, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what the elements are of a successful business, because there might be a lot of you out there right now that are thinking you want to start an online business, or you already have one, but you are not seeing the traction you want to see and you want to get better at growing it. And I hope that going over these 4 elements has helped you understand what you need to focus on in your business and what you could potentially put your energy into to improve your revenue and your impact and the reach that you have with the clients that you want to serve. Now, this is something that you're not going to necessarily go in order. And actually, I typically don't recommend going in order when it comes to growing a business. Even though I say that it's in order of traffic, leads, conversion, product, you don't actually start with traffic when it comes to growing your business. So if you want to learn more about how to go in the right order for this stuff, then definitely get in touch with me and potentially sign up for a strategy call with me. I do business coaching, and this is something that I can definitely help you with. I've helped a lot of people with it, and I've done it myself, and I've helped other businesses with it. And I've also, at this point, invested over $100,000 in the last 6 years learning how to do it with my own business coaches and programs. So it's something that I am very passionate about, and I love helping other dietitian and nutrition business owners do this in their business and to get their business off the ground. So if you want to talk about this traffic, leads, conversion, product methodology with me, I'd be happy to chat with you. So go to my website, lauraschoenfeldrd.com. If you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see that I have a little, I guess it's like an icon. It's actually a rather large icon, but it says business coaching on it. And if you click that, it'll take you to more information about my business coaching options. And you can jump on a discovery call with me and find out if and how I can help you grow your online business, and just where you might want to start putting your energy into when it comes to your online business and getting to the level of impact and income that you want to have in the business that you're creating. So like I said, go to lauraschoenfeldrd.com, check out the business coaching tab. I would love to chat with you about how I can help you implement this 4-step plan in your business so that you can grow and that you can see the results you want to see and that you can help thousands and thousands of people with the expertise and the knowledge and the skills that you have. All right. Well, I hope that this was helpful. I enjoyed talking about it, and I would love to hear from you if there was anything that was especially beneficial for you. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My handle is Laura Schoenfeld RD. You can DM me there. Let me know if there was anything that you learned from today's episode. I always love to hear your feedback. And if you're enjoying the podcast, the best thing that you can do to show your appreciation for it is to leave a review. So if you go to iTunes, just look for the Fed and Fearless podcast on iTunes and leave a review. Let people know what you think about it. Hopefully it's a 5-star review. If you have less stars than that, maybe just reach out to me privately. Let me know what I could improve. But if you are enjoying the show, then head over to iTunes and leave me a review. That way other people can find the show and they can learn a little bit more about becoming fed and fearless, whether that is in their health or in their business and just in life in general. All right. Well, it was awesome hanging out with you guys. I have a really, really exciting episode next week. I'm going to keep it a little secret because I'm super excited about it, but it's something that we're going to kind of expand on this business coaching conversation. And I am just super pumped for you to hear my next episode. So if you're interested in starting or growing an online business, then you definitely want to stay tuned for next week's episode. And until then, I will see you around, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care, everybody. Hey there, Laura Schoenfeld here again. Are you a dietitian or nutrition entrepreneur who wants to start or grow an online business? Are you feeling stuck, frustrated, or even downright scared when you think about taking the next step towards your dreams of entrepreneurship? Trust me when I say that I've been there before. I've been running my own online business since 2014, and I worked with Chris Kresser to help him grow his business starting in 2012. And over the past 8+ years, I've learned a lot and made a lot of mistakes when it came to creating the multiple 6-figure business I now run today. And if there's one thing I've learned since starting my business, it's this. You don't have to figure out how to transform your knowledge, expertise, and passion into profitable online courses, digital products, and memberships on your own. I've personally invested over $100,000 in my own business education, mentorship, and coaching. And I can honestly say that I have no idea where my business would be today had I not taken the leap to invest in myself and in my success. I might not be running a business where I get to work with amazing clients every day, helping them solve their biggest health and business challenges so they can live the purpose-driven life they were put on this earth for. Remember, becoming an in-demand expert in your business isn't about being egotistical or selfish. It's about having a deep commitment and a burning desire to help others. And if you're not growing your business successfully, there are hundreds and maybe even thousands of people out there who are missing out on the opportunity to get the amazing help and support that you were born to provide. You're here for a purpose, and if helping people improve their health by running an online business is one of your purposes, then I have an exciting opportunity that'll help you build your business even faster and easier than ever before. My world-class business coach, James Wedmore, is releasing an awesome video series for entrepreneurs called The Rise of the Digital CEO. In this series, James shows you exactly what keeps most business owners stuck and struggling and reveals the 5 areas you need to focus on to overcome whatever is standing in the way of your success. Now, if you don't know James Wedmore, he's a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur who's built multiple 7-figure businesses in multiple niches. He's also one of my favorite coaches and mentors, and he's helped me completely transform my mindset around business so I could grow my income and impact while also working less and enjoying life more. The financial and time freedom I've experienced has been life-changing, and I want you to have that experience in your business as well. This is your chance to tap into a series of instructional videos that'll show you exactly what you need to blast through whatever's got you stuck and give you the power and confidence to take on the world of online business. And best of all, this video series is totally free. So if you're ready to start taking charge of your business and your life, go to fedandfearless.com/rise to watch these videos before they go away. While you're there, you can also get on the waitlist to learn more about James's amazing online program, Business by Design, which helps struggling service-based coaches and course creators transform their businesses from the inside out so that they can experience the time and financial freedom they desire while having a bigger impact on the world. And if you decide to join BBD under me using one of my links, you'll also receive bonus coaching from me. You'll learn additional tools and strategies that are specific to nutrition and dietitian entrepreneurs who want to start, grow, or scale their business to 6 figures and beyond. I'll be teaching you things like effective sales call strategies, how to stand out online in a crowded market, and how to develop your first or next online nutrition program, and more. If you want to learn more and watch James' free video series, The Rise of the Digital CEO, go to fedandfearless.com/rise. This video series is only available until Thursday, June 25th, so don't miss your chance to learn the business strategies that have changed my life and the lives of thousands of online entrepreneurs. And feel free to DM me on Instagram if you want to find out more about my bonus business coaching opportunities for anyone who joins Business by Design under me. It's time to rise in your online business, and I can't wait to support you on your journey to becoming the confident digital CEO you desire to be.